So in my last video about Chance and his current girlfriend Alyssa, I spoke about some text messages I had received from a friend of Alyssa's that has known her for a long time, and Alyssa opened up to her about Chance and Charles, her ex. Here are a few of the wonderful things she had to say about Chance. She said, "Girl, that boy pisses me off more than I can count. If I had a D, I would pull it out and make him suck it. But honestly, Chance would probably like that." And then, as I was explaining in my last video, she was complaining and accusing her ex, Charles, of taking advantage of her while she was with him for those few days when she ran back to him when Chance was in jail. She said, "When Chance went back to jail, I had to call Charles and other ish happened on top of that. And Charles ended up taking advantage of me with stuff. There's a charge pending, so I can't talk about it." So Charles even came to me after this last time that she ended up leaving him and going back to Chance. And he said, "Look, I'm really not trying to expose her anymore. I'm just trying to remain positive. And I know she's already going through enough." But after he found out she was making these accusations against him, he had to come out and defend himself. So this is what he had to say. He said, "There is 0 charges pending, and I actually called the sheriff's office after your video, and she is lying about all of it. I never put my hands on any woman in my life, and in fact, I did take her medicine to her. She just never grabbed it. I'll be responding this. Just give me some time. This ish is bogus." And he's referring to the medicine because that's another message I was sent that I spoke about in my last video. She was claiming that Charles was keeping her medicine from her, and this is why she had been losing so much weight. And so Charles said, "The first time I went to pick her up and had her dog and some of her stuff, so this was around mid-December, like the week before Christmas." And he said, "She ended up staying but never took her stuff out of my car. So when I took it back to her, I had her medicine in the car in a grocery bag. It had slid up under the seat and she didn't see it. And I actually had that in messages and so much more since December." So he asked Charles if she ever said anything to him about these claims she's making about him, and he said, "Alyssa hasn't told me herself. She only told other people, and it got back to me, and once I heard it, I messaged her and she blocked me." So when Alyssa first left Chance for Charles, she blocked him, and then she unblocked him around December 18th, and he ended up getting a text message from her because she was wanting him to come bring over the rest of her belongings over to the hotel she was sharing with Chance. And she said, "Can you message or call me when you get close, please? This is on Tuesday, December 19th. And he said, "I called, went to voicemail, I'm here." And then she said, "Where's my medicine?" "Is in the bag." And he says, "It should have been in the little grocery bag." Then when Charles got back home, he looked better in his car and he found the medicine pushed up underneath the passenger seat, and he ended up messaging her and he's like, "Unfortunately, you're not going to find your medicine because I found it under my driver's seat." So then he explained, on December 18th, she called me and I went over to the hotel she was at, and this is the Troy Inn and Suite she was staying at with Chance. He said, "I got there about 6:40 a.m. and stayed there for about 5 hours. So Chance must have been behind bars whenever she had him over, because I just don't see her inviting Charles over to her and Chance's hotel room for that long unless she knew he was locked up." And Charles said, "She had asked me to go to the apartment and get the rest of her stuff, so I did, but I didn't know if anyone else was there, so I had the police meet me there." I'm pretty sure he's referring to the condemned house that Chance and Alyssa were staying in before they moved into the hotel, where they ended up leaving all their animals abandoned. And he said, "So I had the police meet me there, and when the police showed up, they deemed that she could not make her own decisions at that time because she was so wasted." So the photos he ended up sending me were cop cars and ambulance on the 18th, and he said she did not leave with me that day or get her stuff back, so I took it back to her on the 19th. So after she gets all her stuff from him on the 19th, she blocks Charles, and then she unblocked him on January 2nd, and she called and she asked Charles to meet her, and she said she was done with Chance and she wanted to come to my house. So I went over there and we sat in the car, we talked for a bit and showed up, and then we left, and about 15 minutes after that we went to the gas station across the street, and she had me get her a 10-pack of honey shots, and she already had 2 when we were sitting in the car talking. She downed a couple of them. She got drunk quick on the way to my house, and the next day she woke up. About an hour after she woke up, she downed a few more shots. She got a buzz, and she didn't drink no more till about 6 p.m. He said that's when she ended up driving to the gas station and bought them about 12:30ish, and her ride showed up and she left to go to Ohio, but she made me promise I would come get her the next morning to come back to my house. So Thursday morning I get a hold of her and she found out Chance's bail was reduced, and she decided to try and get me to take her to Missouri, and I ended up not doing it, and she ended up finding another way back to Chance. I'm glad Charles didn't at least take her back, because that would have definitely been a sucker move to take her back to her new. Here are a few messages she sent to Charles after she left Charles. She said, hey. He says, yeah, you gonna tell me what you want? You said, hey. And she said, I want the world. And he said, why are you gonna call just to hang up? And she said, my ish is not okay. And he says, I assume you don't want me to pick you up in the morning anymore, huh? And she said, stop, hello, are you there? And he says, yes, I'm here. If you honestly want me to pick you up and bring you back, I will. But I gotta know you're not gonna do this ish to me again. This is all while she is in an active relationship with Chance. And she said, I won't, I'm hurting to be away from you. And he says, I know the feeling, I'll come, just don't do me wrong no more. My heart can't take this ish. And she said, we'll be together soon. He says, I hope. I'll come after my doctor appointment in the morning. Please don't get my hopes up just to knock them down. And she said, I won't, Pinky. And he says, okay, I'll be there, Pinky. Good night. I love you. She says, I love you. Stay up. And of course, the next day she ghosted him and found her way back to Chance. So then Charles posted, after he found out about her accusations she's making against him, he said, it's truly sad that one day they say I love you and the next day they're stabbing you in the back for no reason other than their own self-interest, and even worse, it's all lies. Scars on your heart never come from strangers or enemies, because you have to care about someone in order for them to leave that scar in the first place. Forgiveness is key, and I can. Alyssa is out here telling people, F Charles, I was trapped, I was being held against my will, he was forcing me to do it with him. When I said no, he would beat me and put bruises on me. Here are a few pictures from the few days Charles and Alyssa spent together where she claims he took advantage of her. Charles wanted to make sure he was covering his bases in case she did try to press charges on him. So he sent me this video of them together, and she pulls up driving his car. She has him go inside because she wanted him to buy her a 10-pack of honey shots because she has to have her honey shots. And then they pull off together. And it's just like, if you were really in a dangerous situation, just let the cashier know to call cops. Or if you are in a dangerous situation, pull up at a Quick Trip, tell them you need a safe place, and they will hide you somewhere until the police show up. So he says, I went and got a lot of proof just in case she was trying to do something. He feels like her intentions for why she's making up all these lies is because she wants Chance to believe she didn't cheat on him. Charles said she told me herself she has cheated on him a few times already. And that's on top of her cheating on Chance with Charles. And so I found out from one of my sources, shout out to them, they want to stay anonymous, but they sent me these charges that Alyssa actually got on December 22nd in St. Peters, Missouri. So she was pulled over and she got 3 different citations. She got a citation for failing to register a vehicle, another citation for operating a vehicle without maintaining financial responsibility, which I'm assuming is not having insurance, and a citation for operating a motor vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner involving an accident. I automatically assume that these were probably charges and citations from a accident that Chance actually caused, and since he just lost his license, he probably had Alyssa take the fall for his charges. And Charles confirmed that I was right. He said pretty much, yeah, she told me he was driving and she took the charge, but she also said she was gonna go to court and tell the truth, but I doubt she does. I doubt she will either. But man, this man just dragging her along right with her. I'm surprised she didn't take the charge for the hit and run too. Damn. But I just want to share with you guys what Charles had to say in defense to what Alyssa was saying about him. He also said that Alyssa was actually the one who used to put hands on him while they were together. He said that she would get drunk, and instead of having a good time, she would get really mean. And there's multiple instances where she put hands on him. And I asked him, I said, is that DV charge she got from 2019, is that against you? And he said that he actually met her and started dating her a couple days after she had gotten out of jail for that incident. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes and cosmetics at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.